it's Betsy, and today we have a fun video. We're going to be testing out the Raw Beauty Kristi times Colourpop at Foresight palette. And actually the rest of the collection. So when you open her up, she looks like this. There are 12 shades and it retails for $20. Now I picked up the whole collection, which retailed for, was it $87? So it comes with 2 lip glosses in the whole collection, or you can buy these each individually. And these are $9. So I'm gonna start off by doing some lip swatches. Now I love Colourpop's Luxe Lip Gloss formula. This shade is Wildflower. So as you can see, it's just a plain kind of pinky shade. Still pretty though. And then my favorite of the two, just by looking at it, is Glacier, which is like a white with lots of sparkles, because y'all know I love some sparkles. See how pretty that looks? There's just something about when you put on a lip gloss where it has like, gets rid of your texture and all that fun kind of stuff. Gotta get it on. It keeps wanting to pop back out. Now we're gonna swatch the lip liners. So the Colourpop BFF Gel Cream Eyeliners, y'all know I use these all the time. I love them. So I have a ton of them. And these retail for $7. So first up, we've got Woodsy. Beautiful brown. Then we've got Spare Time, which is a beautiful forest green. Love that shade. And then last but not least, Marigold, which is a beautiful mustard shade. Gonna disappear because I dropped my pencil. So that is Marigold. So very, 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 very pretty. Pretty. We love all the pretties. Okay, then there are 4 Super Shock shadows, which I love Super Shock shadows, but again, I always forget about them, and these retail for $7 each too. Now the collection is sold out right now, but it will come back, I'm sure. So the first up is Campfire, which is a beautiful, beautiful copper shade with glitter in it. And it's got like this multi-dimensional glitter. It almost reminds me of candy corn. I wish you could see it in person because it's almost like there's some silver and white and orange in there. Then we have Olympic, which to me is more of like your silvery gold. This one is a little dry in comparison to the other one, but it's still beautiful. So as you can see, it's more of like a silvery gold kind of tone. I'm thinking that's the best way to describe it. Or a frosty white. Like a frosty off-white. Trying to think of the best way to describe these is always. Then there's Mycelium. Probably saying that wrong. But we're gonna test it. Okay, so Mycelium, as you can see, is definitely more, that is almost like a peachy kind of color, but with some shine to it, like a pale gold, but it does have some pink in it as well. And then last but not least is Like a Moss. Now this one, just by looking at it, is my favorite. So if you look at it there, it's like that beautiful green with some glitter. That one doesn't have a lot of pigment to the base, but it is still beautiful. Now I have already primed my eyes with the Gerard Clean Canvas Eye Base. That's what I use all the time. So we're gonna start off by swatching this palette, but isn't it just beautiful? This is everything that I want in a grungy palette. I mean, a grungy kind of fall winter palette. So first off, we have the shade Puffball, then Chanterelle, which is a type of mushroom, I do know that, Rainier, and Old Growth. Okay, so we have Puffball, Chanterelle, Rainier, Old Growth. I love that old growth shade, but I want you to see, like in the palette, there is some chunkiness to it, like there's a piece of it over there. And I didn't dig into it super hard. It's just a weird kind of formula. And there's only 2 shimmers in here. So there's Evergreen and West Coast, Homegrown and Amanita. I think I'm saying that right. Probably not. So we've got Evergreen, West Coast. Those are very pretty. Then we have Homegrown, Amanita. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Then we have Fiddlehead. Now y'all know that's a color after my own heart. Emerald City. PWN, or PNW, Pacific Northwest is what that stands for. And then Let It Rain. So, Fiddlehead, Emerald City, PNW, and Let It Rain. Now, Let It Rain is a very unique kind of color. It is one of the Colourpop sequin shadows, which are not always my favorite. But the difference with this one is, I'm going to swatch it on my other hand, is, I'm not sure if you can see. There, okay, yeah, there you go. You can see that there is some orange glitter in it. So, it's kind of different. Okay, so let me go ahead and wipe the swatches off the back of my hand before I start to do an eye look. I have stained so many pairs of jeans from accidentally touching my pant leg with, so I don't want to do that today. So we're going to start off by putting on our e.l.f. eye tapes, just like normal. And I think I want to do something orangey. Orangey, maybe. But I still want to use some of the colorful shades because y'all know I live for color. So I got in with my Trend Move box and haven't used these yet, is the Nabla N306. So I'm going to go into the shade Chanterelle right here. Picks up beautifully on the brush, because I want to do like a really pretty gradient. That is a beautiful mustard. Beautiful. And I love Raw Beauty Kristi. Like, I bought her other palette. Now I had to buy it like on the second round because I waited all day and trying to get through with the pure stuff. But I did end up finally getting a hold of it. And I love that palette. I haven't used it on camera yet. But at some point I will. Because that's how I always feel about palettes. I'll either use them with like a chit chat get ready with me or something like that if I don't get to film like a new first impressions of it. And I am going to go through and do a major declutter at some point because, yeah, your girl's got way too many eyeshadow palettes at this point. But I do this on the regular anyway. If you've watched me for a while, you know I buy a lot of eyeshadow palettes. But I also give a lot of them away. I have no issue with that. I got friends, I got family. And then I also donate to our local women's shelter as well. Because I think that that is important to do. So we're just blending that out. Isn't that pretty? That's the Rainier shade. I don't know if I told you that. So earlier, while I'm doing this, let's go ahead and kind of have a little bit of a chit chat. So I was talking with Cameron while we were doing our walk this morning. We go on a mother-son walk every day. We both need the exercise, and it's a good time for us to sit and chit chat. And he was talking about the D'Amelio girls. And they kind of drive him nuts. And I was like, is it that they actually drive you nuts? Or is it more to do with the jealousy factor? Because we're very honest about things. And he's, you know, he's like, well, I am actually jealous. We talked. And, you know, I love a good honest child. And I love a good honest child moment. And I said, well, today's society, we were talking about flex culture. Now, if you're not familiar with what flex culture is, it's kind of where people get, and they talk about everything that they got. Now, it happens whether you're young or you're older. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that it does. I don't see my friends doing it, and I do it too to an extent. I mean, we all do. If you're posting pictures of any new purchases, pretty much you're flexing. You're showing off what you got. If you live in a house that is way bigger than what you need, like if you're a family of 4 and you live in a 4,000 square foot house or a 3,000 square foot house, that isn't something you necessarily need, but it is something you have. And is it bad to be proud of the things that you earn? No, it is not. I don't want it to seem like I'm saying that at all. But you know, it's like I told Cameron, I said, I don't fault anybody for that kind of stuff. I'm not jealous of anybody by any means. Like, I'm happy where with my little corner I have on YouTube, I'm going into the shade Amantia. I think I'm saying that correctly. I'm probably not. Just kind of keeping that on the outside corner. See, I'm kind of winging it. And then outside. Anyways, you know, and it's like I was explaining to him, I don't think I ever want to be that kind of famous. Like, I like my life how it is. I am in a good place in my life, and like, you may not know, I grew up with pretty much nothing. We were teenage parents. I mean, we had Nadia and Caden before we were 20 years old. My life was not peachy. I moved out on my own at 17 years old. I didn't graduate high school. I own a successful business at this point, and I am lucky in the fact of that I get to do YouTube as a big portion of my job for my Cuttin Corners vinyl channel. And then I also, you know, if I'm gonna get ready, I get to film this during my work day. So, I mean, those are things I'm grateful and thankful for. Not to say I'm not intelligent enough to graduate high school. It's just when you're young and you move out and you have to kind of get everything done on your own, you do what you have to do. I love how this looks. I love this burnt berry kind of look. It is definitely very campfire-y. And again, this is not me sitting there saying this to be like, oh, you need to do this and this and this. It's really not. But like talking with my kids and stuff about things is very important to me. You know, I've definitely made sure that they knew what I came from. And my home life was more than just being dirt poor, because we were. It was also a very abusive household. So I'm glad that I am out of it, but it is what it is. Like, my kids really have nothing to do with my birth family. Now, like, my birth father, I haven't met my brother and sister in person. I just found out about them last year. But, you know, most people I'm blood related to are no good. And I say that with sincere honesty, as best as I can put it. And I just keep my kids away from it. I cannot have my kids grow up the same way that I did. We have a very loving, healthy household where we talk about everything. And some of you may or may, like, my kids know my birth mother, because I was adopted, she died when I was 10 years old from AIDS. Yes. So we have talked at great lengths about like STDs and all that kind of stuff. We talk about everything. And I have no problems talking about like what I go through, you know. It is what it is. And I've always told my kids part of the reason why I don't mind is if I can help someone else, then it's worth it. So I think I'm going to go into the shade West Coast across the lid, because I think that'll go really pretty with this look, because it's that more true gold. But yeah, life was not cupcakes and roses growing up. And now it's great. I mean, my husband and I, we've built a business. We are financially secure. If I want an eyeshadow palette, I can buy an eyeshadow palette. my kids are well taken care of, but my kids also know how to work for what they get as well. Because I love my children, but I'm not going to give them everything, because I think that it's important to learn the value of a dollar, because it is, you know, I see too many of the people like in our school district and stuff like that, they have handed so much stuff to their kids that their kids don't know how to work for it. And that's not what I want for my kids. I'm loving this. Okay, I think I'm gonna add something else to the edge just to kind of give it a little bit more depth. But yeah, I mean, as I said, we've worked really hard to get to where we are and made it work. Jeremy joined the military. This is the shade Homegrown, which is that brown. His parents were great. He grew up, you know, pretty much about as basic middle class as possible. I'm sure when Jeremy's parents, whenever I came into the picture, were like, who's this girl? But, you know, now we've been together 20 years and it's something, you know, different. Okay, so I'm loving this. Okay, so we're gonna go off camera, do my face makeup, and then we'll come back and do the lower lash line. I think I'm gonna use one of the Super Shocks in my inner corner. So I'll be back. So I'm back and I have the rest of my face on. I used the Moon Prism blush in the shade Gravity right down here. This is by Lunar Beauty. Who else is excited for the new, what was it? I can't remember the name of it, but the dark palette. And then I used my Gucci bronzer in number 2. And then on my lips, I just have the Kylie Lip Pencil in, what shade is this? If I can read this. Why do they brands put things on here where you can't read it? I don't know. It's the orange one from the In the Wild collection. Now I figured I would try to use one of these Super Shocks as my face highlighter, like the Mycelium color. We're gonna see how this goes. This could be tragic or it could be amazing. So this is a Morphe M510 or 510. Kind of sparkly. Not the best, not the worst. Add a little bit to the bridge of our nose. Some here. I think it's good. I just think it needs to be buffed in more. Like I'm gonna grab my big Rephr powder brush and kind of go over everything. There we go. That's better. So that's got a pretty glow to it, because I wanted to use one there. Now, while we're doing the rest of our eyes, I did want to say that whenever it came up on the conversation of how I grew up, I don't want it to be like anybody needs to feel bad for me. It is what it is. It's how I grew up. It's life. But the reason why I brought it up is because, like, talking with Cameron, I want him and his brother and his sister to be able to be content with what they have, you know, and not always want more and more, you know, like there's nothing wrong with that, but I also, you know, sometimes if you're always craving the next best thing, you don't always end up with it. So I'm going to go into that shade Let It Rain, which is the black, and then this is the BK Beauty 203, which is one I love to use for this type of process, which is just kind of stamping some color towards the outside. I really want to add a little bit of depth. See what I mean? Just out to the outside on both eyes. That is one of my favorite areas to add depth. That looks pretty. But yeah, kind of being able to be content with what you got, because if you start getting jealous over what everybody else has, you know, then your life is kind of, you know, kind of boring. So I think I'm going to go into the shade Puffball, and this is the Nabla in 304, just to kind of finish. Yeah, smudging out under my under eye. See how that has like that dirty, grungy kind of look? And I love, love, love this kind of grungy look. And I am wearing false lashes, the same ones I use every single time I put on false lashes, which are the Eylure Accent number 5. They're big enough to make a difference, see what I'm saying? But they're not like, this one's curled a little bit more than the other one, but they're not like so big that it's like, whoa, false lashes. You know what I mean? Okay, so I think I'm gonna go into the Olympic shade for my inner corner. But yeah, this is the Noblet 303 brush in 303. And apply that, oh, that's pretty. Kind of chunky, but pretty. Apply that all in the inner corner. Looks like I got glitter tears, doesn't it? Like, anyways, but yeah. Being able to be content with your life is important. Because, you know, I'm never gonna be famous, which I'm fine with. I'm fine with my little corner of the YouTube world. I love doing what I do. I love playing with makeup a little bit more than I do, you know, crafting all the time, but crafting pays the bills, so that's what we work with, you know. Adding a little bit more depth, I added a little bit of that Rainier shade. Now I'm just gonna take a clean BK Beauty, this is a 201 brush, and go under and really smudge it out. Plus that kind of helps with the glitter tears fallout from the Olympic shade. You see what I mean? Like, it's just kind of dry in comparison. It's not the normal Super Shock formula. That one's not my favorite. I mean, it's still pretty, don't get me wrong, but it's just not my favorite. Let's try this one. This is the Like a Moss, which is definitely more up my alley. Add a little bit over the top. You know what I'd never realized, and I'll show this to you because I didn't realize it. I have hit pan on that. That's such a soft formula and so shallow that I have hit pan on it. I'm just adding a little bit of this to my brow bone. I love this color. So pretty. But again, you know, with me and my kids, you know, we have a good life. Get to take vacations that I didn't get to take when I was a kid. You know. And I'm a survivor. So even like this year has been so cruddy. I just keep going. That's the shade Glacier. Now I need to add some lower lash mascara. This is the Beetlejuice mascara. I like it as like a lower lash line mascara, but it is definitely not my favorite for uppers. Like, this isn't something I would use without false lashes. Just in my humble personal opinion. So there is the completed look. So I like all of the Super Shocks for the most part, other than Olympic. I really wasn't a big fan of how dry this one is. Like, I don't know. There's something about it that I didn't like. Oh, you know what I forgot? Inner waterline. Let's use the shade Marigold. Let's see if it'll work because I've got black now. Yeah. Yep, you can see the mustard. Mustard is one of my favorite colors. Okie dokie. That is the final look. Love all the gel cream eyeliners. That is something I love, love, love. The Super Shocks, like them except for Olympic. It's just not my cup of tea. Then the two lip glosses. Very, very pretty. Very, very pretty. And the palette, the piece de la resistance is amazing. Like, this thing is gorgeous, gorgeous. Like, I cannot wait to play with some more shades in here. And today I did my look using that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one. So I used 7 out of the 12 shades, so that's not bad, right? Yeah. 7 out of the 12 shades. And I do plan on doing more looks with this. I think it is an absolutely stunning palette. I am so in love with the look that I created today. It is neutral, but a little, you know, grungy and sexy, which is, you know, this is Betsy and an eye look. Like, I love color, but I also love grungy color. That is my favorite type of color. This kind of thing where it's like, you know, I like it messy. I don't like things too perfect. So if you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button right down below and hit the notification bell icon next to it. That will notify you when I post new videos. Now, typically I post videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but for the Christmas time, we have been inundated by new products. So I have been posting 6 days a week for the most part. But no, it really doesn't bother me because honestly, I love doing this. I love playing with new, especially eyeshadow. Eyeshadow is everything to me. Don't ask me why. Like, I am the girl that has this many palettes that I have paid for out of pocket because I don't get PR. And I still want to buy more. Always. They intrigue me. But I guess that's it. So we will see y'all later. Bye.